Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the open house hybrid meeting launch of River City Toastmasters. I'm Victor Irving Jenkins, and I am the sergeant at arms of this club. And that's all I am, is the sergeant at arms of this club. But I know enough to remember what the whole point of this meeting is. You see, Toastmasters has a mission statement, and we all know what the mission statement is. And I'm going to tell it to you right now before I introduce you to our illustrious leader. The mission of a Toastmasters club is to provide a mutually supportive and a positive learning environment where every member gets the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. And who could not use a healthy dose of self-confidence and personal growth? But enough about me right now. Let me introduce you to our illustrious president to moderate this meeting. She's coming to you all the way from Morocco, Jihane Agdal. Let's give her a great big round of applause.
Thank you, Victor. Fellow Toastmaster and honored guests, welcome to our meeting of the River City Toastmaster, where we stand and strive to nurture and enhance our communication and leadership skills. I want to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guests who have joined us today. Whether you are here to experience Toastmaster for the first time or considering becoming a member, we appreciate your presence and we encourage you to actively participate and make the most of this opportunity. To our esteemed dignitaries, we extend our heartfelt gratitude for gracing us with your presence. Jay, could you please help me introduce our dignitaries in the room?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster, or Madam President, but fellow Toastmasters. I believe the most honored guest in the room at the moment is Miss Simone Thomas, who has visited us before. And as soon as she found out we are live and in action, she joined us today. Simone, would you like to rise, speak publicly in person first, and say what is one thing you would like to walk away with today? Yes! Let's see how that turns out for you today. I bet you'll walk away with more than you had planned on. Thank you for coming. Other than that, we have Bill Dean. Well, you've got those in the house, so I'll let you take those in the house, Madam President.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. And how about our dignitaries online? I want to introduce Mr. Bill Dean. Could you please say hi and what brings you today to our club?
Hi. Well, first of all, I'm a former club coach of this club from quite a few years ago. And but I heard that you guys do a hybrid meeting, and I see that you do, and I wanted to attend a hybrid meeting and see what it's like.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for your presence. Your presence adds an extra layer of significance to our open house. And now, Jay, could you help me please introduce non-Toastmaster or first-timers guests present with you in the room?
Madam President, Simone Thomas has been addressed today. However, first time in the room, hello, Virginia!
You're welcome, Virginia, with us. Before we delve into the exciting agenda for today, we used to warm up the environment with a question of the day related to our theme. However, in the interest of time, we will skip it today. If you want to explore the question of the day, please come and visit us in our upcoming regular funny meeting. Your presence today means a lot to us, and we want you to feel right at home. We understand that stepping into something new can be a little daunting, but we promise you're in a good company as you enjoy our event today. We could be delighted to have you join us in our upcoming meeting. It's a fantastic opportunity to explore what we're all about and become a part of our growing community. So take a deep breath, soak the experience, and consider this an open door to our future gathering. We look forward to seeing you again and again and getting to know you better. Welcome. And I want to offer a special thank you to Madam Dilla Jenkins for the incredible kindness and generosity with refreshment. Your contribution added warmth and comfort to our event. Thank you from the bottom of our heart for making it special. Big applause for Madam Jenkins. And now it's time to introduce our Toastmaster of the day. With his unwavering dedication and charisma, he has been a driving force within our Toastmaster community. He has taken on the responsibility of orchestrating today's meeting with grace and enthusiasm. He has a talent for setting the stage, guiding us through the agenda and ensuring that we all leave here with a sense of fulfillment. Our Toastmaster for today has consistently been a source of inspiration, nurturing an environment where each of us can grow as communicators and leaders. His leadership has left an indelible mark on our club. Without further ado, I invite you to warmly welcome John Pasamonte as our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam President. Welcome, fellow Toastmasters, friends, and guests. I'm not your Toastmaster for today. I am your realtor. It's our open house. It's our open house. Now, instead of showing you property, I would showcase our club. In a property, we're trying to show how it is to live there, how to dwell there. But in our club, we want you to see how to have fun with us, how to learn with us, how to be friends with us. And today, I am so happy to see everyone both online. I can see you from behind, I can see you from this camera. I think that's part of the challenge of hybrid. During the days before COVID, we were just doing in person, right? So we were taught to speak in front of the audience, you try to maintain eye contact. So my secret to eye contact is I try to see somebody interesting on the left, although now it's just Victor. And then I try to see somebody from my right, and it's Emric. Then I see somebody from the middle, and it's Simone. And if you try to see at those 3 points, they say, because of the ocular vision that you have, you are as if looking at each and every one in the audience. Online, though, when we started doing online, we tried to look at the camera, the beeping red or the beeping green, depending on what laptop you have. Today, I'm trying to look at that camera far off the auditorium, so that as if I'm looking at you guys online. The task of the Toastmaster or the speaker in the lectern now is not just trying to see or view who's in the audience in person, but also who's online. I tried to set up this laptop next to me so that I can see you guys online. So, for us to learn, I'll try to choose one person on the left, one person on the right, and one person in the middle, and then look at the camera so I can look at you guys online. Now, to lighten up the room, let me call on our humorist for today, and she's here in person. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Virginia Muller.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you for that introduction. Hi, my name is Virginia, and this is about a buffet blunder at a house opening. A house that smells like cookies could be a selling point, and they often do that. When Marilyn Burney was selling her home, she left the house so a realtor could do a showing. When she returned, all that was left of the cookies that she had cooling for her family were crumbs. Whoops. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
See, that's part of the learning curve. So we're not used to passing on the lectern because online, we simply call out who's next. But here, we're trying to call out whether the person is online or in person. So we pass on the lectern virtually and physically. And to pass on the lectern physically, we try to shake hands, rub elbows, fist bumps, whatever we feel fit. Right? Now, there's a thought for today. She thought I missed it. She's online, right there. Our dear immediate past district director of District 39, and a dear friend and sister and part of our club, Denise Alder Guthers.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. The purpose of an inspirational thought is to center everyone and prepare yourself for what is about to transpire. Today's inspiration is from Ann Landers, and she says, maturity is the art of living in peace with that which we cannot change. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
I don't know about maturity, but today I just want to feel young. Well, I am young. And in this open house, I would like to welcome each and every one, not only those people in person, but online. And I see and I heard our former coach, Bill Dean. Woohoo! It's nice to see you. And then, of course, Hugh, all the way from Germany. And Carol. Hi, Carol. Just note that everybody in the audience can see you in the huge projector behind me. And we have Linda, all the way from Idaho. And Kenneth Bradshaw. He's in the dark, but he's right there. We say hi. And then, of course, you heard our Madam President all the way from Morocco. And for the information of our guests online, we have in the audience, you heard a while ago Jake Tushinsky, also a past president. You heard Virginia Muller. You heard Simone Thomas. And we have, of course, Victor Irving Jenkins, Amrik Hima, and Dan Piskowski at the back. Now, in that open house, when I stepped in the second floor a while ago, see if I could smell the aroma of baked cookies, because Madame Jenkins prepared some goodies for us. It's not virtual, mind you. I know Sis Dang, Denise, always hears this virtual pastries and drinks. But today, we have physical goodies in the next room. In an open house, not most realtors have helpers. Today, I'm blessed. I have helpers so that our open house would be successful. I have with me our Madame Grammarian to share her role and our word of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jake Tushinsky.
My fellow Toastmasters, we talked about superlatives last week. The last thing I want to do is hear about how great everything is. That doesn't intrigue me in the least bit, which is our word of the day, intrigue. The more descriptive we can be, the more enticing it is, or more interesting your conversation is, the more believable you are. So the word intrigue, or intrigued, or intriguing, both a noun and a verb, can be used, and I encourage you to use it throughout the day. Definitely in table topics if you want to win the fabulous prizes. So here are a couple of those phrases or examples. I was fascinated. No. I was intrigued by your question. Thinking about what's going on in the House right now, you could say the delegates were plotting for their own gains. But I like to say the delegates were intriguing for their own gains. In saying that, I will be listening for ahs, ums, double clutches, any other filler words, and fantastic uses of the English language as your grammarian today, Mr. Table Topics Master, or Mr. Toastmaster.
Ever since I arrived, I was kind of intrigued what the word of the day was. And guess what? It's intrigue. So try to use the word intrigue today and for the rest of the week. That's how we are here in Toastmasters. We would like to increase our vocabulary so that we don't just use the words great all the time. You can say astounding, fabulous, wonderful, and now you're intrigued. Another helper to help me out for today is our timer. And our timer is Christina Adams. Christina, please share your role and share the timing constraints we have for today.
Mr. Toastmaster, I believe Christina Adams has dropped off.
And our backup timer, we have Amrik Hima and Kenneth Bradshaw online. So Amrik, please come forward and share the role of the timer.
As in any good meeting, timing is crucial. Today I will be timing. The timing sections I'll be doing is table topics, the speaking portion, as well as evaluation portions. For our table topic is 1 to 2 minutes. So I will hold up these cards at the appropriate time when they're needed. So 1 minute at the green, 1.5 minutes at the yellow, and then 2 minutes at the green. So those are some samples of how I will be doing the timing constraints. I will be in the audience and I will be holding up the cards. It lets the speakers know when their timing is up. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
As like real estate open houses with structured schedule, our open house has segments as well. So we have the prepared speeches, we have the impromptu speaking exercise, and we have the feedback and evaluation. Today, I am honored to introduce our featured speaker for our open house. She's all the way from Morocco. She's doing a prepared speech to prepare to speak professionally in her innovative planning pathways, project number 5. This is to present a keynote speech exemplifying a professional level speaker's point of view or message in a style that supports the speech content. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, friends and guests, please welcome Jihane Agdal, Awakening Empathy. Awakening Empathy, Jihane Agdal.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and guests, it's a privilege to stand before you as we explore a topic that transcends borders and connects us. Empathy. With my speech, I hope to inspire and awaken the empathy within each of you through personal stories, valuable lessons, and timeless quotes. Let me begin with a personal story. A few years ago, I was rushing through a crowded airport, lost in my own world of deadlines and emails. Amidst the hustle and bustle, I encountered a mother struggling with two young children, trying to manage her luggage and calm her crying baby. I felt an initial urge to keep moving, but paused instead. I offered to help her, and that small act of empathy not only made her day, but mine as well. It was a reminder that empathy doesn't require grand gestures. It can be found in the simple, everyday moment of our lives. This leads me to our first lesson. Empathy is a choice. Empathy is a decision we make to open our hearts and minds to the experience of others. As Helen Keller once said, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Another story that illustrates the power of empathy involves a young girl named Maya. She volunteered at a local homeless shelter, serving meals and offering a listening ear to those in need. One day, she met a man named David, who had lost his job and home due to circumstances beyond his control. Maya's empathy and support not only provided David with hope, but inspired him to turn his life around. Today, he runs a successful nonprofit organization helping others overcome homelessness. Maya's story teaches us our second lesson. Empathy has the power to create positive change in the lives of individuals and communities. As the Dalai Lama reminds us, our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. Now, let me share a story that highlights how empathy transcends boundaries. In 1967, during the heart of the civil rights movement, Dr. Martin Luther King delivered a speech that will echo through history. He said, "I have a dream. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." Dr. King's words stirred the hearts of millions and helped catalyze a movement for social justice. Dr. King's story teaches us our third lesson. Empathy unites us across our differences. It reminds us that we are all part of the same human family, regardless of our backgrounds, beliefs, or circumstances. During the global pandemic, we witnessed countless stories of empathy emerging amidst the chaos. Healthcare workers risking their lives to care for the sick, neighbors helping those in need, and communities coming together to support one another. These acts of empathy shone like beacons of hope in our darkest hours. The lesson here is that empathy shines brightest in the darkest of time. As Albert Schweitzer said, the purpose of human life is to serve and to show compassion and the will to help others. Empathy isn't limited to our interactions with people. It extends to our relationship with the planet. Imagine a young activist named Maria who, through her deep empathy for the environment, led a campaign to clean up a polluted river in her community. Her passion and dedication inspired others to join her cause, and together they transformed the once dead river into a thriving ecosystem. Maria's story teaches us our fifth lesson. Empathy extends to all living beings and the planet we call home. In the words of Jane Goodall, you cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. As we reflect on these stories and lessons, let us consider the words of Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget what you made them feel. Empathy isn't about grand speeches or elaborate actions. It's about making others feel heard, understood, and valued. It's about recognizing the common thread that binds us all. Leadership, whether in politics, business, or any other sphere of life, is greatly enhanced by empathy. Let me share the story of Nelson Mandela, a man who not only led his country out of apartheid, but did so with an unwavering commitment to reconciliation and empathy. Nelson Mandela's story teaches us our sixth lesson. Empathy in leadership can change and transform nations and inspire change. Is the ability to understand the perspective of others, even those with whom we strongly disagree, and find common ground for progress. Now, as we near the conclusion of our journey, let's discuss how we can cultivate empathy in our own lives. It starts with self-awareness, active listening, and willingness to step outside our comfort zone. The lesson here is that empathy is a skill that can be nurtured and developed to make us better individuals and contribute into a more compassionate world. Let's cultivate empathy. Empathy is like a universal solvent. Any problem immersed in empathy becomes solvable. Art and literature have a unique ability to evoke empathy. Consider the novels that transport us into the lives of characters from different times and places, helping us to better understand their experiences and emotions. The empathy generated through art can foster greater compassion in our world. Our eighth lesson is that art and literature can serve as powerful tools for cultivating empathy and understanding in society. Art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time, as Thomas Merton said. In closing, I challenge each of you to embrace empathy as a guiding principle in your life. Choose empathy daily, whether it's in your interactions with colleagues, neighbors, or strangers. Let it be the compass that guides your decisions, inspires your actions, and transforms the world around you. Empathy has the power to heal wounds, build bridges, and create a more compassionate and connected world. Remember, as Mother Teresa once said, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. Thank you for your time, and may empathy awaken within you, inspiring a brighter and more empathetic future for us all. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Gigi's speech today reminded me of another Toastmaster I met in another meeting and said, if everybody just simply learn how to communicate with each other, maybe we will be void of conflicts and violence. And I think her speech today resonated not only to me, but I'm sure to our audience. Please send your love notes, your feedback, and what resonated with you in the chat, whether privately or in public, so that you can give your feedback for Gigi. Let's give that a few seconds or minute. I also believe that in Toastmasters, it teaches us empathy in some way, because when we speak, we are taught to consider the receiving end of our message. And that's a choice that we have to make. And we're hoping that there would be positive change, and that we're hoping that it will unite us when we speak to others. And then that's when you, as a Toastmaster, whether you're a seasoned one or a new Toastmaster, that hopefully you will shine your brightest, and that this message will extend to all. And that's the message of our dear speaker and Madam President of our club, that hopefully whatever impact we can have will inspire change, not only from within, but also around us. Thank you for that. And now we go to the second part of our program, our impromptu speaking. And today we have our dear friend Amrik Kima to facilitate our table topics. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Amrik Kima.
Table topics. Why do we do table topics in Toastmasters? It's for extemporaneous. I always have a hard time pronouncing that word, even though I was sitting back in the audience thinking of the word as well. But basically, it gives us an opportunity to practice table topics. When would we ever find the need to use table topics? Well, we could be involved in a funeral. We could be talking to our boss, maybe even a good friend that you haven't met for a long time. You're trying to think of ideas of what you can use as a table topic. So our table topics are going to be timed between 2 to 3 minutes. And John will be timing us in the audience. 1 to 2 minutes, correction. 1 to 2 minutes. We're going to start off with our first table topics. Just looking here. That's going to be, tell me your most favorite time that you had when you were in school. The word of the day today is intrigue. We want to make sure that you use the word of the day. And Jake is holding up No, that's not Vanna. Oh, no, that's Jake. Sorry. Okay, correction. That is Jake. And the word of the day is intrigue. We will start, let's see. Does any one of our audience wants to take this question? Bill? All right. Bill, I see you have your hand raised. I see your hand raised there, Bill. Is your mic on? We
I
can't
think
hear.
so.
Oh, there you go. We got it. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, Toastmasters. One day when I was in the 6th grade, I was invited to the principal's office. And I had no idea what it was about. I was quite intrigued to find out why, out of the blue, I was summoned to the principal's office. And I got there, and there was a whole room full of other students who were summoned. And the principal said, if you don't want to be part of this project, you can leave now. I thought that was strange. Well, I think 1 or 2 students left, but I didn't. I wanted to know what was going on. Now, this was the year 1964. And the project was for us students to do some research, to come up with some ideas about what the future would be like for the year 2000, which was 36 years away. And when I went home and talked to my mom about it, my parents about it, my mom said, wow, I'm 36 now. If I live that long, I'll be twice as old. There's no way I'm going to live to be 72 years old. Of course, I never reminded her about that. She lived until 2013. But anyway, we have this project where we were learning about trying to get a grasp of what the future might be like. And I don't remember anything that we came up with. I don't know what we said the year 2000 would be like, but I can assure you that whatever we came up with, the real 2000 was totally different. But that was a really interesting assignment, and it really got us thinking and growing intellectually. So I'm glad that I stayed in that room that day. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Bill. The next question is going to be for the beautiful Simone. And the word of the day is intrigue. The question for you is, I'll have you come up here, is which activities makes you lose track of time? Which activities makes you lose track of time? Simone.
What activities make me, there are so many activities that make me lose time. I love to have fun. I love to engage with people, so I can say the activity that I can completely get engulfed in and be lost for hours is just conversing with people. I love to relate with people. Relator is one of my top 5 character strengths. I love getting to know people. I love to know why they tick, what makes them tick, what inspires them, what makes them wake up in the morning. And that makes me lose complete track of time because people are very intriguing. That was a good position, Drake, and I wasn't even ready for it, but I was leaning towards it. People are really, really intriguing, and figuring out why people tick. And if I can assist them in being prosperous in that, that is what I truly, truly, completely lose track of. I want to know what inspires you, what makes you happy, what even makes you upset, what aspirations you have in life. That is what makes me lose complete track of time. So thank you very much. My name is Simone Thomas. And back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much. My next question has to do with best friends. So I had an opportunity to go to a car show and meet some of my friends from all the way back from kindergarten. You know, a lot of us share a lot of stories of our trips with our best friends. And I'm sure that Daniel has some great stories about his friendships that he'd like to come up and speak about today. And Daniel, we want you to use the word of the day, which is intrigue. Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master, for that intriguing question, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Friends' stories. I was just back actually in Colorado visiting a friend from college. We've known each other for 50 years. And it seems like all my good friends are from my college days. I have another good friend from college that lives in Monterey. And most of them are in Colorado, but I got a chance, to meet most of them. And it's just interesting to see how we have all changed. And I think the reason why the friendships have lasted for 50 years is when you're in college, you tend to hang out with people that you like, and you might even have different values. Like my one friend, Tom, was a business major. He went out and made a lot of money. Now myself, I'm an environmentalist. I mean, we're at the total opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm here about saving Earth, and he's here about building, making profit. But he kind of tempered his views from my friendship with him. And so never underestimate the power that you have over your friends because of just the way you act and stuff. Like we want to tend to have friends that actually think the same way we do. But I have friends that are Trump supporters. And some of my other friends say, well, how can you be friends with them? Well, because friendship transcends religion, political views, everything. I accept him for his views, and that's the most important thing. And I think that's the most important thing in friendship. You're friends with people that accept you for who you are, all your problems, all your warts, everything else. And that's why friendships are so intriguing. Mr. Topics Master.
Such intriguing thoughts. I was looking at this picture right here in front of us, picture of Sacramento, the Tower Bridge. Such a beautiful picture. And I seen this man over here in the bottom left-hand corner. And I'm wondering, what is he thinking about? And I see Victor over there contemplating the same thing. Victor, why don't you come up? Tell us what this guy's thinking about. Victor Irving Jenkins.
I was thinking about how appropriate it was that Dan got to deliver a table topics using the word intrigue. Why? Because it has a tree in it. And Dan is a tree guy. I was so sure that he would pick that up and throw the word tree in there because he's an avid arborist. And for those of you that don't know what arborist was until I met Dan, it's got something to do with tree. So this feller that's sitting on the tree here in Sacramento, he's probably thinking about how wonderful it is that there's a tree there that he could find some shade in. Probably during that time when that painting was made, there weren't many trees that he could sit under, but this one he could. It's a beautiful painting. I appreciate the opportunity to pontificate about the painting, but most of all, I appreciate the opportunity to pontificate. Because if I had a superpower, it would be to pontificate. And you all got a pretty good example of it just now. When I pontificated about the word tree being an intrigue and connected it with Dan Pasowski. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us here at our launch of our hybrid club and all the people that became a part of it, and that's a little bit more than what the table topic respondent needed. But I think that maybe what has happened, I could be wrong, I think that what has happened is the timer has gotten so caught up in what I'm saying that they have forgotten to lift the green card. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
With that, that concludes our table topics. At this time, we would like for you to vote for the table topics. We have a vote sheet on the agenda as well. Timeout, okay. Okay, at the end. We'll collect those at the end. Thank you for that, Jake. With that, let me reintroduce our Toastmaster, John. Thank you.
So if you're a realtor showing a property, you should always be prepared in answering questions whenever you have guests or clients visiting the property. So much so that when we have an open house in the club, that's pretty much what we do. We also answer questions. Like we have Simone and we have members, sometimes they would have questions. And of course, I didn't forget you guys online. And now is the part where we seek feedback and evaluation. And our general evaluator for today would be none other than our dear friend from Idaho, Linda Jackson.
Thank you, John. We're at the evaluation portion of our meeting, which actually is my favorite part. Notice that the word value is in the middle of the word evaluate. This is where we get our value by getting feedback, finding out what we did well, and suggestions for improvement. And to that end, I would like to introduce the evaluator for Jihane's speech, Dan Pasowski. Dan, the lectern is yours.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters guests, and especially you, Gigi. Thank you for that wonderful speech, Awakening Empathy. You started off on the introduction telling us how your speech was going to go and that you were going to, about how empathy transcends borders and how you're going to inspire and awaken empathy. And I like the title because originally when you sent me your evaluation form, it just said empathy, but by putting awakening empathy, it grabs the audience's attention. And you started off talking about a personal story. And the best way to really bring an audience is to do that, is tell about a personal story where you showed some empathy. You were kind of lost in your own world, and you took a minute, and just by taking that minute, it changed a person's life, and it also made you feel better. And what I liked about the speech was empathy is a choice, and so you had it written, and you held it up. So when we hear it, but plus when we see it, we're going to remember it better. And you went through all the different points of empathy, how it has power to change. And you talked about, you gave the example of Martin Luther King, and I Have a Dream speech. Talked about empathy unites us. And as you were going through all these, it was incredible. And then you got to the meat of it as how can we cultivate empathy? And it's something that can be learned. And it was very moving speech because everything you were talking about really hit home, and I think it really grabbed the audience and everybody was drawn into it. A couple ways to kind of improve on it. You put out a lot of information for us, and what I would do is on the personal story, on the stories you gave, maybe limited it to just 2 or 3. Because for each example of empathy, you made the statement like empathy extends to all living beings, and then you gave an example. Each time you gave us a a fact about empathy, you gave an example. And so you're throwing out a lot of information at us versus if you just picked like maybe the 3 most important things that you want the audience to take away from empathy, and then tell those stories and kind of elaborate on them. Your delivery, excellent. Good eye contact with the audience. I love your whole presence. White background. There's no distractions. And Hugh Clark had given a speech about it, and I would like him to give that again because it talks about how your presence and how you present yourself, how it draws the audience in. Excellent speech. No ahs or ums, no filler words. In the conclusion, though, too, it would help to kind of reiterate maybe the 3 main points about empathy, but how we can cultivate it. So it's a takeaway. So at the very end, in your conclusion, you want to give us a takeaway that, okay, I'm going to try and do that today. I'm going to try to cultivate empathy in what I'm going to do in the people I meet today. Excellent job, Gigi. And I like how you're challenged. And this is open house. Most speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. Gigi was really challenging herself on this speech because it's a lot longer to prepare. And so I appreciate that, and congratulations. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Dan, for an intriguing evaluation of Jihane's intriguing speech. Had to get that in somewhere. Next, we will hear from our timer to see how we did with the timing for the meeting. Timer, that is Amrik, will you please come up and tell us how we did?
Since Amrik was our table topics master, I kind of hijacked his role as a timer. So everybody was within time. I don't know about Victor, but let's just give it to him that he is within time. And as for our evaluator, he was about 30 seconds generous to us. So that's how our timing was. And for the speech, Amrik, 10 minutes and 15 seconds. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Now we need to find out how well we used the English language today. Jake, will you give your intriguing report?
No dirty work here, that's for sure. My fellow Toastmasters impress again and again and again. Nevertheless, a few ahs and ums in there, so that's where I'll start. Virginia, 1 However, ladies and gentlemen, I have applause for her, not a single so. John, you've been killing it all day, and this last speech, just this last 30 seconds, you came up with, here's by John, kinda. We're kind of, it's a kind of apple, but we don't kind of hijack, we hijack. The other thing is way to fill that spot. Jake, I caught her with a random so. Mark this day on your calendars. Bill, you rocked it. Simone, you were so close to in the clear. And then you said, maybe I don't know. So careful with the nose. Dan, on. 3 double clutches today. I'm glad you're not driving. Amrik, we got you with the Victor, thank you for pontificating. It's my favorite word of the day today. You win this award. Linda, you're doing an excellent job, madam. As well as Bill, I said fantastic. And this is where we are today. This is your grammarian report. All people use the word of the day, and we'll see where we end up as far as who uses it the most. Day's not over yet. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Jake. And now it's my turn to evaluate the meeting as a whole. I'm going to save some stuff till the end, so just bear with me. At first, I would like to say, Gigi, I love the way you introduce the meeting, you introduce people. It shows obvious preparation. It's done very professionally. I would like to commend you for a job well done. And this is every week it's this way. I liked how everyone explained their roles. In an open house, it's nice for people to know this is what we're doing and this is why. Excellent job for everyone. I liked the speaker. So much take-home value, things that I can apply tomorrow. But the thing I'd like to focus on is the birth pangs of a hybrid meeting. And we had a few birth pangs today. One of them was the speaker at the lectern. We had a hard time seeing because the light wasn't there. We had shadow in front of the person's face. So if there's any way we could get more light on the speaker, that would be very nice. The microphone at the lectern is a one-way microphone. So when you turn or turn around, we can't hear you anymore. So something to be aware of. Perhaps a different microphone would be in order. Also in the room, when Simone spoke while she was standing in the room, those of us online couldn't hear her at all. So just some things to be aware of. Perhaps we could get another microphone or something along those lines. I love how we are learning or relearning how to shake hands in between and not leave an empty lectern. It's hard in a hybrid when some people are online and some people are in the room. The only thing I will say is don't drop the baby. If you're both in the room, you do the shaking, and we call it in what club I belong to, don't drop the baby. You don't ever want to drop that baby on the floor. You want to actually shake. All in all, this was an excellent meeting. I think that having the picture of the people at the lectern as well as people in the audience, it helps those of us online engage with the group and feel like we're part of it. So that's a fantastic thing that we're doing. I think this was a very good meeting. I think that we are, yes, as I said, having a few birth pangs, but this is going to be an amazing group in the hybrid format. I would like to conclude this and send my greetings to John Pasamonte, our Toastmaster, to resume the meeting. John, the lectern is yours.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. The difference between our open house and a real estate open house is that each meeting is an open house. And just like what our Madam President said, it's open doors from there on. Be ready. Every week is an open house. And we're not selling a property, we're selling value. We're selling friendship. We're selling skills development. We're selling fun. We're selling learning. We're selling a bunch of beautiful people up there together with us. And now, as you can see in your agenda, please scan the QR code to vote for your best table topics, so we may award them. Thank you for putting it up there, Madam Zoom Master. Similar to a real estate open house closing, we thank everyone for attending, and hopefully we will have opportunity for potential buyers to express their interest. In our case, we remind guests of the next steps of those interested of being part of this amazing club. With that, I give it back to our Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. We have reached the end of an incredible meeting filled with inspiration, growth, and camaraderie. Thank you for being a part of this incredible Toastmaster journey. I look forward to seeing each one of you at our upcoming meeting, where we will continue to embark on this exciting path of personal and professional development. And before we conclude today's meeting, I would like to take a moment to invite our esteemed guests to share their feedback and impression. Your perspective is incredibly valuable to us. Let's start with you, Mr. Dean Bell. Please share with us your feedback about our meeting.
Yes, well, I was wanted to see what a hybrid meeting looked like, and this is a very positive experience. I want to come back on another Thursday and be in the room in person and see what that's like.
Thank you. You're most welcome in all our upcoming meetings. How about you, Carol? Tell us about your feedback about the meeting.
I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was good that you could finally meet in person. I wished I lived in Sacramento. No, I don't really, but I wished I could be there. You know. Yeah, I'm a 2.5 hour drive away, so I don't think I'll make it.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. And you know, I also hope I could live in Sacramento so I could meet on in the person. And
Yeah.
Jay, could you please help me get the feedback for our guests in the room?
Hi, everyone, and thank you all for everyone that's online. So today is my first day with this. There it goes again. You don't count that one because the meeting's over. I was very impressed by the preparedness. I think it shows it's very difficult to do hybrid meetings as this. The room setup is top notch, and I'm really impressed and excited to come back, and I hope that you all have me. So thank you.
Do we have our winners?
Yes.
If you're online, I'll take this home. Who's our best table topics? Oh, best speaker, Madam President. Dan Piskowski, come over. And for evaluator, best table topics, it's Simone. This is yours. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and congratulations for winners. Let's give ourselves a round of applause for our outstanding meeting. Let's keep shining as the rising stars of communication and leadership. Meeting adjourned.